Hey guys, Shaoshan the Infernal General here. I'm going to be doing my first Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube video. It is a deck profile for my September 2020 Banlist Madolche deck profile. I am using a few proxies in this because I'm waiting on certain cards to come in the mail, but I felt like going ahead and making this video anyways because I can. There are going to be a few cards in here that you would normally see in a profile that I just can't afford, so this is a little bit more budget, but I think the options I have to replace what the more expensive cards are work pretty well. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The first thing I run is Triple Mageline. You have to do this. She normal summon, search out any Madolche monster. She's just great. Of course, you run 3 Petting Sessor. She's your starter. She can extend, special summon her, and she can special summon any Madolche from the deck, reduce its level by 1. Next, I have 3 copies of Madolche Angeli. You have to play the Angeli at 3. She is a Lone Fire Blossom, and she brings out any Madolche monster from your deck as a special summon, which is usually this 2 of Madolche Hoot Cake. Now, I can see someone running 3 Madolche Hoot Cakes, especially if they want to run more hand traps, or monster hand traps specifically, like Veilers or Ash Blossoms and stuff. I still run it at 2, but it is something to consider that you might be able to bump this up to 3 if you play a deck like that. My last Madolche 2 of is going to be my 2 Madolche Messengelato. You could potentially run her at 3 just in case you happen to draw 2 of her, but I like running her at 2 all the time because I feel she's just too bricky over 1. And then the last Madolche I run is Madolche Pudding Sis. She's needed for the combo. If you don't know the combo, there's plenty of videos out there. Summon her with Petting Sessor. You can go into Glass Souffle or Tiramisu, put a Chocolata mode over it, and just special summon for days. So that's the end of the Madolche main deck monster lineup. You might consider running Butler Rusk. I hear he is doing a lot better now, especially with the addition of Madolche Salon. I don't run him. I don't even have him. But it is something to consider, and I might even try him out eventually. So for the non-Madolche monsters, I run 3 Ash Blossom and Joy's Spring. This is my only hand trap monster that goes to the graveyard, and I'm only running it just because there is so much searching going on. I want to be able to stop my opponent because I want to go second. Next, I have my Frame Gamma and Driver package. It does suck opening the driver, which is why we only play 1. It would be nice to run 2, but it already bricks enough at 1. Usually you don't open them. You're more likely to get the Gamma, of course, because there's 3 compared to 1. But, just when your opponent does the monster effects, just go with the Gamma. And sometimes they'll just scoop right there because they're like, okay. The next thing I have is another proxy, which is 3 Winged Dragon Raw Sphere modes. I'm waiting for them to come in the mail, like I mentioned. So you just tribute 3 of your opponent's monsters. This is really good right now, so that if your opponent makes that Borreload, Appaloosa, Dragoon, Arclight board, you can just pop this on top of it and get rid of 3 of them immediately. So yeah, that's 3 of those. It does take up your normal summon, which can make it bad, but in a moment you'll see what I'm doing to kind of work with that. I do play 2 Madolche Chateau. This is something that can be sided out, games 2 and 3, but I still like to at least start off with 2 Chateau. It's always nice to be able to get to a second one if you lose your first one. I only play 1 ticket. Of all the Madolche back row, this is almost just like the worst one now. But, it's still nice. You can make your combos go off. Special summon, search, all that stuff. Ticket, so I at least still play the 1 of there. I honestly would not be surprised if people eventually wind out cutting ticket, to be honest. And lastly, of the Madolche spells, I play 3 Madolche Salon. My 3rd one's coming in the mail. This card is just ridiculous. You know, you get your double summon effect, but a lot of what people overlook is the second effect, which when a Madolche card is returned to your deck, you get to set a Madolche spell or trap card from your field, which could be any of them. Chateau, Ticket, Promenade, whatever you need for any occasion. So that card is great. If it wasn't for that second effect, I'd probably play 2, maybe even 1, but I think it's a good 3 of right now. Another proxy here. These dark holes are Dark Ruler No Mores, which again I have coming in the mail. It's a little awkward with Madolche because, you know, you want to do all of your damage at once, but sometimes just clearing your opponent's board is what you need to do for the turn. Set up a glass souffle, set up a hoot cake that can't be destroyed because it was summoned off of Angeli, things like that. So you can still work with it, but at the same time, you can always just not play the Dark Ruler no more if you have such a busted hand that you don't need it. Next I play 2 Forbidden Chalice. I don't play Impermanence because I do not want to spend $40 on cardboard. So Chalice, it's not as good, and if you have Impermanence, of course you should play it over this. But Chalice, it's good. I want to play 2 of them because when I have 3 of them, I feel like I have them too much, which I don't really like. Next, I play 2 Cosmic Cyclone. There are multiple reasons I play this. For one, it's like you don't want to just instantly lose the back row, which is why I have these in here. Another thing too is like some of these boards will wind out like attaching a Dragon Buster, Destruction Sword to their Dark Monsters, and this is a way to out that so you can go in your extra deck. Next is the 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. Again, I don't want to lose the back row, so I just include this in. It's very likely to be sided out sometimes just because I don't always need it, but it's there. I want to at least have it to start off. And then I play the 1 Called by the Grave because hand traps suck. Would play 3 of them, but of course it got hit because even though I think it's a fairly fair card, Konami doesn't like it. Okay, so that's Called by, and then my trap lineup is just 1 Madolche Promenade. I only play 1 because I feel like once you resolve it, you win like 99% of the time, so I don't find myself ever really needing a second one. But you could consider running 2. I see a lot of people running 2, and I don't think that's bad. My issue is it's a lot like Messenger Gelato, where I don't want to open it so much, especially if I'm going second, so I'd rather just the second Promenade that I used to run just be a combo piece that I can go off with. So that's the end of the main deck, which is even 40 cards. For the extra deck, of course, we run 3 Madolche Queen Tiramisu. Still the best extra deck monster in Madolches. I run the double Madolche Teacher Glass Souffle. Really good, of course, with the turn 1 combo, turn 2 combos where she can just get your plays running. She's basically like a starter in the extra deck. But she also has that built-in protection effect, which comes up sometimes. 2 Madolche Chocolata Mode. Could consider pumping this up to 3. I might even wind up bumping all these up to 3 because I barely go into the rest of my extra deck, to be honest. But she's great. She allows you to special summon things as long as you have Pudding Sis under her, so she works wonderfully. Then I play 2 Madolche Fresh to start. She doesn't come up nearly as often as she used to since I don't have to link summon to play my Madolche Exceed monsters, but I do like still having her in here. I would even play her at 3 if I did the Extravagance build, but I'm not doing that because Extravagance costs too much for now. It does seem to be going down a little bit, so I may eventually wind out running Extravagance. Alright, that's the Madolche extra deck monsters. Now for my rank 4s, 1 Dweller, because shutting off graveyards is good, 1 Tornado Dragon, because popping back row is good, and 1 Gaga Cowboy. This is mostly for time, but if it ever comes up, you know you can just burn for game. And my Link monsters 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and 1 Apollosa. I barely ever go into this package, but it is here if I ever need it, so that's good. My side deck is a little I don't think it's really the best side deck in the world, but I don't have a whole lot of cards to work with, so it is what it is. 3 Effect Veiler for if I feel like I really need to do a lot of effect negation. Then there's 3 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit for if I'm playing against a deck where I feel like it's better for me to destroy the monster than to negate its effect. 2 Gamicio, just in case I am playing against like a deck that doesn't do a whole lot of summons. So like if they're more likely to end on 1 or 2 monsters, I can just put this in, drop it over their monster, and we're still good. So Sphere Mode is not dead. 1 Raigeki because I can blow things up with it. It's good when I'm playing against things that aren't meta. Another Cosmic Cyclone, just in case I need more back row hate. So that's there. 1 more Chalice, just in case I feel I need that. It's a lot of effect negation here. This is my spell hate. So like if I know I'm going first, I will set up my board and then drop some anti-spell fragrance, just to prevent those spells from working. People may say it's not that great, but you think about the cards that some of these top decks are playing, like Dragoonity, Divine Lance, and I don't even know. But you just flip this up on them, and they can still do their plays, but it does stop them from doing their spells. And who knows, maybe some of those things they sided in against you are not going to be able to activate because they wanted to do spells. And then lastly, 1 red reboot for the trap cards. And that is the Madolche deck profile for my September 2020 ban list. Of course, like I said, there are better cards you can play in this. Obviously, Infinite Impermanence is good. Lightning Storms, you could maybe do triple tactics talents. There's been people playing Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, which they're all pretty good things. Like the Lightning Storms and Forbidden Droplets also a thing, but things like that for me, they just cost way too much money for me to invest in them. So I wanted to make this deck, and I think this deck only costs like $100 to make. So I find that a lot nicer than having to spend like $500 just to play a card game. Alright, so that does it for my deck profile. This is Shaoshan the Infernal General. Until next time, have a great day.